Main question I want to ask Adriana before I get on to the rugby is you had a fabulous weekend. You were rubbing shoulders on what wasn't a red carpet, it was a green carpet with some of the best players, some of the best coaches in the world. You must have been in your element.
Thank you, Neil. I've had a very big week indeed. The FIFA Best Awards, very fortunate they took place here in my new city of Milan, and had a wonderful, wonderful evening mixing and rubbing shoulders with the very best players in world football. A great night and, yeah, really a great spectacle by FIFA, of course, their best player of the year. There feels like there are many of those these days, but it was a great night. And, of course, Lionel Messi and Megan Rapinoe winning the men's and women's best players of the year, respectively.
So, Adriana, it's quite interesting. A lot of talk from various quarters about the politics behind the situation. First of all, Ronaldo, as you actually told me off air, about an hour before the award ceremony, you had heard he wasn't arriving, which is probably an indication that he wasn't going to be up for an award, which I suppose FIFA are disappointed about. But from his perspective, you could perhaps understand it. What was your take on that, the Ronaldo story, as much as anything else?
Well, we know Ronaldo and Messi do have a fierce rivalry on and off the pitch. Ronaldo, yes, we were made aware in the lead-up that he wasn't coming on, which was a disappointment from my perspective. Obviously, it would have been great to see him there. He did, though, have a match with Juventus to play 24 hours later. In the end, he didn't feature. Well, he did feature, actually. There were doubts that he would not feature. So there was some conjecture around that. But look, in the end, Messi winning, Van Dijk second and Ronaldo third. Many predicted that to be the case. Obviously, Lionel Messi went on to have another sensational season. Personally, I never felt that Ronaldo was a legitimate candidate to actually win. I thought he deserved his spot in the top three, but just felt that Messi and Van Dijk had both had better seasons in the 2018-19 campaigns.
But let's talk about the top two. Now, I think you're right about the Ronaldo story, but Virgil van Dijk, and stories coming out now about some counting that might not have happened. So there's plenty of stories, twists and turns. What have you heard?
There have been a few reports that have been revealed suggesting that perhaps there were some countries that felt that they'd voted in a different capacity, but FIFA have quickly come out and denied those claims, and they've done that very quickly, obviously. But look, for me, I wasn't a voter. I was just a presenter of the green carpet. If I did have an opportunity to vote, I personally would have gone with Virgil van Dijk, which I know many supporters of Lionel Messi would disagree with. Lionel Messi, though, the season that he had, again, 50-plus goals, well over 20 assists, a dominant campaign domestically with Barcelona, and still a Champions League semi-final with Barcelona. He certainly deserves the award. And I mean, the thing that I come back to when we discuss these players consistently winning these awards in Ronaldo and Messi, well, they've been doing it for 10, 11, 12 years now. And if this was the first time, the first season that Messi had ever recorded those figures, he would certainly have won the award. So I've got no issues whatsoever with Lionel Messi winning yet again after a 50-goal, 20-assist campaign for Barcelona.
Well, there you go. Virgil van Dijk would have got my vote as well, but I'm also a presenter, so they clearly don't count presenters. Otherwise, Virgil might have won. But that debate will rage on. I just think that I would have voted him myself. Before we get to Conte and Inter, I do want to congratulate your Italian rugby team. Only now, because in a couple of weeks you're going to play the Springboks, and then I can't compliment you on your team. But the Italian rugby going well, so thumbs up for them, matey. Long may they continue to pick up some bonus points. But I want to talk about Conte and Inter, because that Conte touch has been spectacular. Inter breaking all records. They look great, don't they?
They do. They look very good. I saw them last weekend live at the San Siro against Milan in the Milan derby, and well, it was 2-0, which very easily could have been 4 or 5.
On to those challenges that lie ahead. As you know, football is about confidence, it's about momentum, and Inter have come really from nowhere, and they've established all of that very quickly. So it's a good time if you're an Inter Milan fan, for sure.
Absolutely. As stable and as solid as any team in Italy at the moment. No surprise they are top of the pile. The challenges, Juventus, they've got a massive injury crisis at the moment. Atalanta and Napoli, who are third and fourth, have been fairly solid, but it just feels Inter are the most complete side. And with so many areas still to grow and improve, it's a very dangerous prospect if you're a Juventus supporter, because Inter, they are the real deal. And that match at the San Siro, not looking too far ahead, but next weekend, Inter Juve, that will be one that will really shape up how this season will unfold.
Yeah, it's probably Di Francesco's worst result that he's got to play, the in-form, confident Inter now. He probably doesn't need too many more nails in his coffin. This might be another one this weekend. We might see our first manager casualty. What do you think?
Well, we could. Sampdoria have only the one win for the campaign, that 1-0 over Torino.
And they've got an injury crisis as well, principally at fullbacks. Are you worried that maybe just they might be asking a few questions, particularly because Spal are quite difficult to break down, aren't they?
Well, this is going to be interesting. We knew this would be the case at some point. Juventus came into the season with only 3 recognised fullbacks in the entire squad.
Yeah, I think you're right. One would expect them to win because they're at home, but then Champions League, when you're starting to play into Champions League fixtures with a thin squad, that's when you could come under pressure. But if you get 2 bad results, then we know that pressure builds.
Absolutely, and you don't need to remind a team like AC Milan that at the moment, because they're certainly struggling in 13th place. But with so much Champions League football to look forward to, and these Italian clubs who are participating in the Champions League, in Atalanta, Napoli, Inter and Juve, all playing this weekend as well, it is a very busy time for the top clubs around Europe, but plenty of big fixtures across Italy and Europe to look forward to over the coming days for sure. Absolutely.
I mean, I'm a Tottenham fan, as you know. I didn't even want to look at Tottenham and Bayern Munich. I just avoided that one and moved straight on to the next one, because there are certainly problems for Tottenham in England. Not a good time to be welcoming the German champions. Barcelona, Inter, without a question, the pick of those fixtures. So some tasty matches coming up. But generally speaking, I have to say, Adriano, not just the rugby, but there's a swell of Italian football that's going through a renaissance at the moment. And you look at Champions League, I think we're going to see a lot of Italian sides playing well and making a real mark this season. Fair comment?
Fair comment. Italian football is on the way up. That's not just me speaking. That's evident in the results we've seen. Disappointing match day 1 results collectively across the Champions League and the Europa League, with a few teams being defeated. But I'm very confident match day 2, winnable fixtures. Atalanta will be an interesting one. They're at home to Shakhtar Donetsk. But Inter away to Barcelona without Lionel Messi. There's a massive opportunity here for an Inter side who aren't expected to win, who are playing good football, to go there and respond after a matchday 1 slip up to Slavia Prague, and Juventus and Napoli both expected to win. So I feel we will see some very positive results in matchday 2 of the Champions League for the Serie A clubs, and hopefully it leads to bigger and better things in a big season for Italian football.
Oh, Adriano, everybody is on a roll at the moment. Even the Italian presenter is on the green carpet, looking at $1 million, working with the best-looking presenters in the world, football players. Oh, I would just wish to be Adriano Del Monte right now.
Very kind of you, Neil.
It was a very good move, by the way, arriving in Milan. Perfectly timed. Lovely talking to Adriano. And why wouldn't he be bullish? His Italian rugby team is looking great at the moment. The football's looking fantastic. And, of course, we really welcome his input here on EuroConnect.